Welcome back to the Garden Hutch. Today we discuss week 2 of 2023. Let's get going. Week 2 here on the homestead was relatively productive. We got quite a bit done. We got some dirt moved. We moved the lettuce out to the greenhouse. We started some new vegetables. We started putting out our bird seed to start getting some of our feathered friends back into the yard. And I'd also like to talk about the chickens. So let's get started. Well, as you can see, my dirt pile is a lot less than what it was. We've moved about 2/3 of it so far. So let's go ahead and take a look at where we're moving that dirt. So what we're trying to do down here is we are trying to work on getting the level of this berm a little bit higher. I'd like to, add about 18 inches by the time everything is compacted in and that sort of thing. Because the water will pool here and then it runs off right there on the other side of the strawberry cauldron. We like the way that works, but we've had a few torrential downpours. Oh, you too. We've had a few downpours, and what'll happen is right between these two beds, it'll kind of break through because at the base of it, it builds up quite a bit. So my goal is to work all the way down, but predominantly it's this end. So the reason I haven't really started on that is I'm just going to sort of use what's left over to manicure that and sort of match it up. But the real area that we need to raise is from here down, and so we're just adding it slowly but surely, letting the rain come through, put it in, and then adding more. We should be done with this if we do it gradually by hopefully by the mid-March, and that big old pile will be out of our way. So the second area that we've been moving the dirt to is right through here. So the big key was getting the topsoil into the beds that we did the last couple weeks. So now we can concentrate on where we need it in the yard. So what we do is just we bring out dirt, we tamp it, let it rain, and then we throw another layer on top. We'll let it rain, we'll tamp it down. We'll do this a couple more weeks just to make sure that it's nice and solid before we build the greenhouse. Shout out again to my father-in-law. We appreciate you, Mark. That new greenhouse is really going to help us out this year, especially allow us to add more of our flowers and companion plants to the garden. So we're super excited about that. We're going to dip in here into the greenhouse real quick and see what our lettuce looks like. It came outside about 2 days ago. We just like to get the seedlings up and kind of established a little bit. Not quite to the true leaves, but big enough where they can, kind of stand up on their own, and then we go through the first thinning. So anyway, let's see what they look like now. So these are the lettuce plants. We let them get about yay high or so. This will be day 2 that they're out here. We will leave them in the greenhouse unless it gets sub 30 degrees. This time of year, all the stuff that we grow is relatively cold hardy. So it's not going to hurt any of this lettuce out here if it gets to, 31, 30 degrees. But if there's a chance for it to actually get frost inside the greenhouse, that doesn't happen until it gets down to about 28 or whatever. We'll just take them inside right before the sun sets, and then once the sun hits the greenhouse, we will bring them back outside. So the sun usually hits the greenhouse about 7 o'clock. Speaking of plants, let's take a look at the plants we have done this week. So for the beets that we've started, we just went ahead and we filled these up with our potting soil. We put the beets in, and then we cover it with potting soil. And then we just, kind of water it in from there. The only other step that we like to do is we like to take ground cinnamon and sprinkle real lightly over the top before we put on the humidity dome. And all this does is prevent any kind of mold or anything from growing on the top of it. Once your plants get up, you can take your humidity dome off, and you shouldn't have to worry about it after that. Just want to give you guys an idea of how this looks in here. What we do is we've got the beets started, and then I put some of the onion sets over here. I've started 18 onion sets and 24 beets. We put the humidity dome on top of these until the seeds sprout. Once the seedlings get to a certain size, then we'll move them to the outside greenhouse, and they will only come in if it's going to be under 30 degrees from that point on. But we found that if we start our beets this way, it's a lot more consistent and it's easier to space them in our salad beds. What's up, Beansy? What do you think, buddy? Well, as mentioned, we have begun the process of attracting wild birds to the yard, and I'll just kind of use this. We try to have a feeder close to every one of our gardens. So because the top garden and the pallet garden are close together, we just use this one tree, and we'll have like the 3 feeders. You can see these and over here. One thing I just wanted to point out was traditionally we don't usually fill them all the way up. We'll just kind of put enough in there for one day. The reason being is this time of year here in 7B, the weather is so variable. You never know what's going to happen, and inevitably throughout the course of the spring, your bird feeders will get blown off and all of the seed knocked out of them, that sort of thing. And while the chickens love it when that happens, it can cost you quite a bit of money if you're filling your bird feeders up every day and they're getting knocked over regularly, that sort of thing. So just kind of keep in mind, make it a daily routine. Come out, put just enough for the day that you need. Come out, gives you a chance to kind of walk your homestead, look around the gardens, that sort of thing. So I mentioned chickens earlier. I just want to give a shout out to these folks down here, our feathered friends. Right now at the grocery store in our area anyway, eggs are about $4 a dozen. We're getting about 14 eggs a day right now, which is absolutely fantastic. We're enjoying it. We're able to have them several meals, and we're able to sell a few of them on the side to make up the cost of our feed. Our goal is, hopefully what we can do is whenever the price of chicken eggs go down, we can keep the folks that are buying from them now. That way we sell just enough to where we can pay for our feed. That's kind of the goal. And it's ended up, it worked out for us, and it's working out for those that we're selling the eggs to. Well, that wraps it up for this week's review. We appreciate everyone sticking it out here till the end. Till next time, I hope that all you folks take care of yourselves. Peace.